Homecoming Week 2024 is nearing an end, but not before Red Raiders across campus had the chance to enjoy a spirited week of events and activities. Coming up, we'll have a look at some of the biggest happenings from the first half of the annual celebration.
A U.S. Senate race making headlines across the country is heating up here in Texas, and Lubbock is getting in on the action. Kiley Phillips has the details on that story, along with information on how soon you can cast your vote in today's edition of MCTV's Inside the Issues.
And Silence at the Jones is coming to an end this weekend, but that doesn't mean there hasn't been plenty of action on the schedule for Texas Tech athletics. MCTV's Todd Eldridge will have a rundown of all the latest headlines and upcoming schedule in sports.
This is the MCTV Weekday Update.
Welcome to the Thursday edition of the MCTV Weekday Update. I'm Zoe Tucker.
And I'm Yemi Akinyeye. Homecoming week is more than halfway finished here on the Texas Tech campus. Since Monday, the Red Raider community has showed off school spirit through a packed schedule of events.
Earlier this week, an annual competition gave Red Raiders a chance to show off their skills and continue one of homecoming's most popular traditions. So Sing kicked off at 8 p.m. on Monday night at the United Supermarkets Arena. Members of the Greek community and several student organizations hit the floor to show off skills they had rehearsed for weeks. Each choreographed routine was inspired by this year's homecoming theme, A Red Raiders Journey, events across the world. Each group also came up with coordinated costumes to represent events, concepts, teams, or locations inspired by the theme and their choice of song. The music choices were primarily made up of hip-hop or pop songs, helping to get the crowd fired up during each performance. At the end of the night, winners of this year's competition were announced. Vitality Dance Company took home first place in the student organization division, and the Greek division winners were the combined team of Zeta Tau Alpha and Phi Kappa Psi.
The Student Activities Board helps coordinate all of the fun and free activities that happen each year during Homecoming Week. And as in years past, SAB offered several opportunities for Red Raiders to show off their creativity and take home a keepsake. Yesterday afternoon, hundreds of students headed to the sub-courtyard to put together their own personalized headgear. The fun started at 11 a.m. as SAB opened up their Make Your Own Trucker Hat events. Attendees could choose from a red, white, or black hat, and then they could personalize the accessory with iron-on patches. The patches included various graphics and letters available in an assortment of designs and colors. Once each student found the perfect combination of hat and patches, they could head over to a heat press where they could finalize their creation. Students then walked away with a keepsake to commemorate this year's homecoming celebration. Wednesday's MYO Hats event was the second free option this week for students to put their creative skills to use. SAB also offered a Make Your Own Flipbook event Tuesday morning in the sub.
The Student Activities Board isn't the only organization hosting special events this week. Two other campus groups recently came together to check up on their fellow Red Raiders at the midpoint of the fall semester. The Office of Risk Intervention and Safety Education, along with the Student Government Association, came together yesterday for Matador Mental Health Day. Representatives from both groups were on site at the Red Raider Plaza gazebo from noon to 2 p.m. to talk to passersby and hand out lots of free swag. Students could grab shirts, stickers, hats, and stress balls and find out about free mental health resources available here on campus. Earlier in the week, both groups also announced that the first 100 attendees would receive a free meal card in hopes of boosting awareness of the event. Matador Mental Health Day is an initiative created by both SGA and RISE to help Red Raiders stay mentally strong. The idea was originally proposed last year as an extension of World Mental Health Day, which is observed each October. SGA and RISE hope to continue to host Matador Mental Health Day again next fall.
The Texas Tech campus was one of the last stops for a potential new U.S. Senator before a big debate earlier this week. And your first chance to vote for him and many others on this year's ballot is coming up in just a few days.
Kiley Phillips joins us with those stories and more in this week's edition of MCTV's Inside the Issues. Kiley?
Thanks, guys. The race for one of Texas's U.S. Senate seats heated up on Tuesday when Congressman Colin Allred and Senator Ted Cruz took the debate stage. The debate comes after the Cook Political Report released that the election and polling data is in toss-up territory. Tension rose between the candidates during their hour-long debate over each other's records. Allred attacked Cruz's involvement in January 6th and when the senator was in Cancun during a statewide freeze.
You can't be for the mob on January 6th and for the officers. You can't. And it's not funny. because you're a threat to democracy.
Cruz attacked Allred's radical views, saying that the congressman wants to destroy the state of Texas.
You know, the far left, they're so angry right now. There's so much hatred.
Polls report that 11% of voters in the Texas election remain undecided on this race. Both candidates also made appearances in the hub city over the past week. Colin Allred stopped by Texas Tech this past weekend to discuss why he chose to run and why he thinks Texas is ready to turn the page from Ted Cruz.
Well, I think we've had 12 years, and Senator Cruz has had ample opportunity to show Texans who he is. And who he is somebody who I think has been largely focused on himself and not getting things done for our state. And so that's why I think we're ready to turn the page and have fresh ideas, new leadership, somebody who can bring us together around our shared values, and that's what I want to bring.
Senator Ted Cruz hosted a rally earlier this morning at the Texas Cafe and Bar on 50th Street. We'll have more details on today's event on the Monday edition of the MCTV Newscast. Recent data from research group YouGov shows that 1 out of 4 people have ended a relationship due to political arguments. Election night is just around the corner and the campaigns have began their final push to the finish line. It's important to remember that politics shouldn't destroy your friendships or relationships. Life Connections Counseling has offered some tips to avoid letting politics ruin your relationships. For starters, notice stereotypes in your own thinking. After that, recognize that the opposing viewpoint comes from someone else's personal experiences. Experts say the ability to hear the other side of the argument is crucial to understanding. When it comes to an argument, ask yourself, what do I hope to accomplish from this? And be sure to never argue online. Finally, experts say the best way to avoid an argument is to limit your consumption of biased media and to cultivate a mindset of openness and compassion. You can cast your ballot starting Monday in the state of Texas. Early voting locations can be found on votetexas.gov. To find your voting location, you can enter your name, county, date of birth, and zip code. You can also contact your county's early voting clerk. For Lubbock, that is Roxine Stinson. And her information, as well as Lubbock's voting information, can all be found on votelubbock.org. The last day for early voting by appearance is November 1st. If you don't vote ahead of that time, you can head to the polls on Election Day, which is November 5th. That was a look inside of this week's issues. I'm Kiley Phillips. See you next Thursday. Back to you, Yemi.
Thanks, Kiley. The Texas Tech School of Art has had a huge influence on the Texas Tech campus. The university's public art collection is one of the biggest in the nation, but the art building itself is not as well known. But a new event in a unique space may help change that. Last Friday, the School of Art held the first ever SAO Mural Bash. The event took place in former Kiln Yard in the outdoor basement level of the building. Members of the art program could enjoy free food, drinks, games, and music. But the main attraction of last week's event was a chance to be a part of history. The walls of the space became a large blank canvas for new students to show off their skills and literally leave their mark at Texas Tech.
The idea is that every year, one of the first things that these incoming art students will be able to do is put their mark on the building. They really get to connect with the building in a very visceral, very physical way. And as part of celebrating that, we're going to throw this bash every year.
The murals created on Friday are now part of the start of a new study space. The former Kiln Yard will now be a quiet space for students to study, play games, and sketch, surrounded by art from their peers. The new mural will also complement art that is regularly displayed in galleries found inside the building. To find out more about the current exhibitions in the art building's galleries, visit art.ttu.edu and click on the Exhibits tab at the top of the page.
After weeks of little to no change in the weather, the South Plains area suddenly experienced the start of fall conditions in a matter of hours.
The drop in temperatures might have caught a lot of students off guard earlier this week, but there's another change on the way that could impact some Red Raiders weekend plans. Chief Weather Specialist Elisabeth Herring joins us now in the studio with details on what's headed our way in the MCTV forecast. Elizabeth?
Thanks, Yemi. Yeah, well, if you're outside on Monday, you know it's quite warm, and you might have thought that warm weather was going to stick around for the remainder of the week because it has been an unseasonably warm October, also a very dry October. However, we did have a cool front move throughout our area on Tuesday evening, bringing lots of cool weather to our area. Yesterday, we had a high of 68, normally around 76, so even a little bit chillier than our normal. Record of 92. We definitely did not see that yesterday. Definitely a cool day, and probably, like Yemi said, caught a lot of y'all off guard as you were heading to class. Low of 45. That is right around our normal of 48. Far from our record of 30. However, we usually do see freezing weather, 32 or below by Halloween. Well, that cold front brought a lot of wind with it, and that's going to stick around throughout the remainder of today and increase as we head into Friday evening. Gusts in the upper 20s, lower 30s across the South Plains area, sticking around for the rest of the night. And that wind is going to move a low pressure system into our area, bringing some storms to the South Plains. Scattered thunderstorms Friday evening around 9 p.m., continuing that rain chance into Saturday afternoon. Yes, unfortunately, during the Texas Tech football game, scattered thunderstorms around 3 p.m. on Saturday, and those chances continue into Sunday morning. Well, tonight, lows in the South Plains in the mid to upper 50s, Turkey 57, as well as Matador up in Demet 53, Plainview 54, Morton 55, and mostly cloudy skies. Tomorrow, pretty chilly from what we've been seeing. Definitely cooler weather than last week and weeks prior. Finally starting to see some of that fall weather. However, it is still pretty mild for this time of year. Turkey 71, as well as Matador and Spur. Demet 65 and Plainview 65 as well, with cloudy skies. Tonight here locally in Lubbock, low of 58. Tomorrow, high of 69, so you might want to grab a light jacket as you head out the door. Taking a look at our 3-day temperatures, remaining relatively the same. However, we do have some rain moving through our area this weekend. Highs Saturday and Sunday in the lower 70s, lows in the lower 60s, upper 50s. As we head into next week, warming up Monday, high of 82, Tuesday 85, Wednesday 86, and Thursday back in the lower 80s with a high of 82. Lows next week sitting in the lower to mid 50s. Well, Saturday is a Texas Tech football game, and it is our homecoming football game. That is going to begin at 3 p.m. However, if there is any lightning throughout the area, that could delay the start time. But assuming the game does start on time, start game temperatures around 66 degrees, halftime 68, end of game 68 as well. So if you are headed to the football game on Saturday, be sure to bring jacket, poncho, anything like that you need to stay dry. I'm Elizabeth, and it's back to Yemi and Zoe.
Thanks, Elizabeth. The biggest event of homecoming week is scheduled this weekend at the Jones, but the football team has actually been the least active of Texas Tech athletics teams this month.
Several other Red Raiders have been making the headlines in their absence, and MCTV's Todd Eldridge joins us now to get us back up to speed in sports. Todd?
Thank you, Zoe and Yemi. The Lady Raider tennis team got closure at the ITA Invitational Tuesday, silencing the Skeptic with 18 overall wins. While overall the team performed well, the only title went to the duo of Maria Laola and Avelina Seyfeta-Danova as they captured their second doubles title. Lady Raider tennis is set to return to Fort Worth for the TCU Invitational on Halloween weekend. Their peers in men's tennis are taking their turn in the tug-of-war of the ITA International all day today. Lady Raider volleyball is looking to send the pain below after dropping their match with TCU last night. The Lady Raiders fell behind the bracket in the first two sets, and defense was MIA in the third. Coach Tony Greystone on the team struggles.
As with any match, there's plenty of things we'll need to get better at. We didn't serve very well tonight, but just not tough enough. But we managed errors. We were good with our first possession when we were in system, and there's plenty of things that we'll take from here.
The Lady Raiders will be looking for a new momentum as they head to Ames to take on Iowa State Friday at 6:30. That game is available through ESPN+. Your number 19 Lady Raider soccer team will be looking to score the clincher in Morgantown later tonight, hoping to arise from the tie result the last time these two teams met. Holding a 1-4-1 record in Morgantown, here's Coach Stone on how to avoid the same old trip.
I think there's certain things that we're good at they're going to try to take away. There's certain things they're good at that we'll try to stop, and there'll just be a little bit of a battle, I think, of execution in the final third. But it feels like a game that each team is going to have their looks, and who's the most efficient, the most sophisticated, the most professional in the offensive end of the field will come away with the 3 points.
This Saturday at the Jones, Tech will look to remain undefeated in conference play against in-state rival Baylor. Taj is still running through defenses, and Tech will look to get to a fast start after the break by getting point number 1 to beat up on the struggling Bears like a piñata, hoping to force the Bears into a forfeit. Tech Athletics asked fans to bring the red out to the game and to come rowdy to make it difficult for Baylor to play in this circus. While we do want you to come ready to cheer your Raiders to victory Saturday, remember to practice restraint and good sportsmanship. Earlier this week, Patrick Mahomes was back on campus to unveil the Mahomes-branded Adidas uniforms Tech will debut against Colorado. Patrick met with the team to announce the new look.
I believe y'all have everything it takes right here. So make sure when you come to work every single day, when you step out of this building or step in it, you're all in. And I got a little surprise for y'all to show you how my belief and what y'all are doing here. So, see if my guys got it.
Love or hate the look, the partnership with Adidas is an unprecedented personal branding accomplishment that is the first of its kind in college football. Special shout out to the meddler in the Big 12 as Coach McGuire becomes the subject of some Big 12 coaches' envy in being named to the Bear Bryant Coach of the Year watch list on Wednesday. I'm Todd, your resident non-trad sports nut, and that was everything to catch you up on Tech Athletics. Back to you, Yemi and Zoe.
Thanks, Todd. Homecoming might be the biggest thing here at Texas Tech, but the local area is busy enjoying dozens of seasonal events as harvest is underway and the countdown to the spooky season continues.
Many local venues have been providing the community with opportunities to get into the fall spirit, including one long-running option just a few miles from campus. Each day in October, local fall lovers fill the lawn of First Cumberland Presbyterian Church to enjoy and purchase their famous pumpkin bread, handmade crafts, and, of course, pumpkins. The church is currently holding their 22nd annual pumpkin patch in South Central Lubbock. Church members work together every year to create the perfect venue to hunt for the popular gourd. The vast majority of the pumpkins come from the Navajo Reservation in New Mexico. Residents of the reservation work to grow pumpkins for the Cumberland Patch to help fund their operations and benefit the local community.
They get 60% of the sales that automatically goes back to the Navajo Indians, and they use that for their Christian education and ministry work on the reservation. The other 40% of the money stays at this church, and we do that to fund all of our local ministries.
Along with the items for sale, church members have also set up several photo opportunities for the community to enjoy. If you would like to take some seasonal photos or get to work on your jack-o'-lantern, you can visit the patch Monday through Friday from 3:30 to 7:30 p.m., Saturday from 10 a.m. to 7:30 p.m., and Sunday from noon to 7:30 p.m.
So, Zoe, are you planning to carve a pumpkin maybe this year for Halloween?
Well, I'm not super creative, but I'll take a stab at it. No pun intended.
And I really don't know what I'm going to do for a pumpkin. I'm probably just going to engage in some other activities. Yeah. Anyways, that's all for today's edition of the MCTV Weekday Update.
Thanks so much for joining us, and be sure to check ttuhub.net every day for more news. We'll see you next week.